I'm gonna let you all in on a little secret about me. I'm a massive Star Wars nerd. I watched all the mainline movies that exist several times over, and I can definitely say that Star Wars is one of the most inspirational and the best movie series I've ever seen. As in, this series alone has influenced more of my creative works than any other series has combined. So let's celebrate Star Wars Day right by playing one of the first Star Wars games that wasn't on Atari. That's right, I'm talking about Star Wars for the Famicom. I couldn't find much information about this game, other than the fact that it was made by Namcot, and released for the Famicom in 1987. Even the Wikipedia article is basically a nothing burger when it comes to covering literally anything about this game. Got a bad feeling about this. The game looks promising with a nice logo, good rendition of the Star Wars theme. It even has the full opening text crawl, although it boggles my mind why the opening text crawl is in English when all the other text boxes in the game are in Japanese. But that's the least of our troubles. To begin, we can choose a novice mission and a pro mission. Don't be fooled, the only thing pro mission does is add an extra enemy to each room. Like, oh wow, there's a stormtrooper that can't kill me. This is so much harder than the novice mission. Even at the novice mission, this game still manages to be frustrating and difficult for all the wrong reasons. Let's start with the fact that Luke Skywalker's hair is black, and that means he slips and slides all around when you're just trying to get from point A to point B, making precise platforming a pipe dream. And for second, Luke is a one-hit blunder. One hit and he drops. Literally anything can fold this man like a lawn chair. Stormtroopers, Jawas, these goblins, bats, even the fish all have it out for Luke Skywalker. Oh, and not to mention, there will be so many instances when you can clearly see the enemy was nowhere near Luke, and yet it still counts as a hit. To be fair, enemies also die in one hit, but that doesn't mean diddly dick when your lightsaber's reach is downright atrocious. Pair that with the fact you only have 3 lives and no continues, you will feel yourself slip to the dark side. It might not be obvious, but you'll feel it eventually. So, okay, that just means you gotta be careful, right? Just avoid the enemies and don't bother trying to attack like a pacifist run in Undertale? Yeah, well, playing this game ain't like Dustin Craps, kid. Every enemy drops these force crystals, which you can spend on various force powers, like a screen nuke, speed boost, and the one you need most, flight. And it is so essential you need to kill enemies in order to farm these crystals. This power alone feels required, especially for the later half of the game. Speaking of which, there's only like 7 levels in the whole game, and all of them want your ass. Alright, so when there's Sandcrawler, we mow down some stormtroopers and goblins, and we're facing Darth Vader? Already? Oh, and after hitting him once, he turns into a scorpion? Still more believable than the Holdo maneuver. Actually, this is Sasori Vader, which literally translates to Scorpion Vader. Very creative. Still more creative than the entire sequel trilogy bringing back Palpatine. I'll stop now. Anyway, we rescue R2 and continue on our merry way, mowing down stormtroopers in our invincible land speeder, crash it into the Mos Eisley bar, and take off in the Millennium Falcon. And no, as we'll see later, Han and Chewie are not in the Falcon. In between levels, we get this first-person space shooter level where B shoots and A activates the shields. The TIE fighters won't stop moving and you only get 3 shields, and you can imagine my frustration. The next level is... I'm not sure. I hear it's Kessel, but it really could be anything, what with its pharaoh heads in the fight with Aerodactyl Vader. Just keep holding down and he will never get you. With this, we rescue Obi-Wan Kenobi, mow down more stormtroopers, and take off in the Falcon. I should mention that this is the last time we ever see the land speeder ever again in this game. And I think I should also mention this now, but I really hope you like hearing this same song for all the levels, because it's the only song in the game. Okay, fine, the boss fights have a different song and so do the title theme, but are we really about to reward a game for having like 3 songs? Next level, again, I'm not sure. Kubi Naboo, what with this White House submerged underwater, and if you weren't convinced this game sucks, this level might convince you. You know, with awkward swimming controls and they expect me to be precise with it, with these narrow gaps with spikes on all sides that are shorter than a gnat's dick. On top of that, there's like a million things coming at you all at once trying to kill you with only milliseconds to react to any of it. Up next is Shark Vader. Okay, that sounds badass, until you realize the thing is pink and you can just keep stabbing him in the butt until he dies.
Get him, guys! Stab him in the butt!
Anyhow, You rescue C-3PO, who still hasn't paid me back for that oil bath I paid for back on Felucia. I don't care how many languages you speak, I still want my money back, you gold-plated gooch. One more level later and we reach the Death Star, which has to be the worst level in this entire fucking game. On top of the one-hit deaths and questionable hit detection, this level is a fucking maze. Not just any maze, a shitty maze. I couldn't tell you how many times I died because of dead ends, this electric trap, and outright leaps of faith. Anyway, like in the movie, you rescue Princess Leia, go down the garbage chute, kill whatever this infected genitalia is supposed to be, and then the room starts getting smaller. And now, I think it's time I bring up the friends you're rescuing. You need them in order to help you essentially just clear roadblocks in the game, and half of them are completely unnecessary. Like, I don't recall a single time I ever used Chewie or Han Solo in this whole game. Anyway, for this one, you need R2 to stop the room from shrinking and collapsing on you, and in the upcoming Vader fight, you actually fight the real Darth Vader. And you need Obi-Wan in order to stand a chance. Apparently he just doesn't take hits whenever you don't call in Obi-Wan. Don't question it. Next level is Hoth, where you rescue Chewbacca. It starts out promising with a return to form. Sure, this bit with C-3PO to get past his fudge packer out of the way is cryptic and annoying, but ultimately harmless. This shit really hits the fan where you enter Echo Base. Yep, another fucking maze with more instant fucking death traps. Anyway, I really wanted to quit with Wampa Vader right here, but I had to keep pressing on, especially after I discovered you need Leia in order to beat him. Just use her the same way you used Obi-Wan. Anyway, last main level, Yavin 4, where Han Solo is trapped in a cage next to this impossible platforming challenge. Oh, and I hope you grinded the hell out of those Force abilities, otherwise it's gonna be a real short trip into a pit. I'm not making this up, the level just actually gave up here, and I'm not editing this. This is how much I had to do in order to make this one jump. Anyway, another fight with Darth Vader where he can shoot lasers out of his lightsaber for some reason.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
Obi-Wan again. And now it's time to take on the Death Star. And no, it's nothing like the first arcade game or the one on the Atari 2600. I actually had to slow down my emulator in order to stand a chance at this level. Between its twists, turns, dead ends, and worst of all, you only got 60 seconds to do it all. Granted, passing checkpoints and collecting these T letters stops the timer and gives you more time, but the odds of you successfully beating this level, let alone this whole game, on your first try without using emulators or save states, is approximately 6,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Fun fact, if you get a game over here, it actually shows the Death Star blowing up Yavin 4. Pretty cool, but way to rub it in, you fucking jerks. Anyway, we clear this, fire the torpedoes, and claim our medals. And just like the movie, everyone gets a medal except for Chewbacca. Good lord, this game was painful. Yeah, sure, it looks fun, but your eyes deceive you. Don't trust them. I don't know what those stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herders were thinking when making this, but I can tell you now, this game leads to anger. Anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. If you find this game out in the wild, don't play it. Don't buy it. It's not even good as a collector's item. Have a happy Star Wars Day. May the Force be with us all. If I had to say one positive thing about this game, it's at least better than the sequel trilogy that doesn't exist. God bless.